other guy thinks he's cool, but he sounds like a giant tool. He calls himself the Toxic Lord. He'll ramble on and make you bored. He rambles the fuck on. Welcome to the Low Bar Show. They have no knowledge to bestow. We hope that you can stay away, 'cause this stream is probably a mistake. Welcome to the Low Bar Show. Woo! Whoa, to the Low Bar
If I tell you something, we've got confidentiality.
What'd you do? No douchebag. I'm gonna make you one. You know, like you and your 5K subs, you dick.
Oh, Mr. 5K subs is gonna bitch at us about our intro.
Watch your more there, Mr. 5K. You know, he's the big league now, there.
Oh, the big league's gonna tell us little plebes how to run our show.
You know, actually, Dark Eye would know this. House of the Dragon. So, welcome to Low Bar, which is called Maxine Triple X. And considering this compared to House of Dragon, I've been seeing more dicks in House of Dragon than in a film about pornos. But okay,
All right,
I can do that actually. Don't tempt me.
don't threaten
Yeah.
us with a good time, Dark
Yeah.
Hour.
So this again, I keep saying our low bars. We never schedule this stuff because your taste in filmography is strange to say the least. I didn't think a film like Maxine would appeal to you, and when you mentioned this idea, I'm like, okay, like, sure, let's
Yeah.
try it.
Yeah, no, I mean I saw the other two because this is part of a trilogy. I'm assuming the last in the trilogy, and
Well, we'll see.
yeah, well, I guess it'll depend on how well this movie does, but we'll
Exactly.
get to that. We'll get to that. But yeah, no, it's something that I did really like the first one. I saw it in the theater. I really enjoyed it, and then the second one I saw on streaming, which the second one's actually a prequel, and
Yes.
then but all three movies star Mia Goth, and in
Yep.
fact, in the first movie, she actually plays two different characters. So, not to spoil anything, but I mean, if you're watching a review on this movie, I feel like I can't really be spoiling anything from the first two, but neither here
Yeah.
nor there, you know.
Yes.
So,
So yeah, X came out in 2022, and surprised me, so didn't Pearl came out in the same year, which that's really unheard of.
I was surprised at that as well. I
Yeah.
guess they must have made them back to back.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, like you said, you know, we always joke about how many movies I've seen. I do see a lot, but like some reason
Yeah, you do.
XX and Pearl, it just for some reason I heard about it, but it escaped
Flew
my
under the radar.
yeah. And when you mentioned it, so this morning to anybody watching, I did watch X, then Pearl, then this one. So I kind of like watched all three films in the same day.
Oh
Hours
wow,
apart. Yeah.
wow.
And because you said, hey, like, you know, get ready to watch Maxine. I figured I got some free time and I watched CBY Drive. No. But
I don't know how you pull that off, but I mean, all right, I'm here to support you.
things
in
I
your
can do with
endeavor.
my hands, you know.
All right, fair enough,
Anyway.
fair enough.
But yeah, so the X movie did okay, 15 million off a $1 million budget. That's still impressive. I mean, 15 million
Yeah.
isn't big, but I mean the budget's $1 million, so come on.
Now, as far as
Um,
I know, it was a hit. As far as I know,
Let's see, Pearl. I mean, Pearl did over 10 million, not as much, but also like you said, came out in the same year. I mean,
Yeah.
but these are A24 films. They're not like well, remember Civil War had the highest budget of A24. That was like 50 million.
uh-huh.
So you know, most A24 films are $1 million budget, smaller budgets.
Yeah.
Um, I guess just real quick, you want to give a quick recap? I'll give mine watching it. Like, so I did watch
Sure.
X, I did watch Pearl. I do think X, I didn't hate it. I just felt like it was kind of, I would say for me, dull. And I know some
For
people say, well, horror
formula
films. Yeah,
formulaic,
for me,
maybe.
well, the first hour, it's all about filming a porno. And I'm not saying I need my slasher films to be more slashery, but in a sense that I'm used to seeing like, Jason
Yeah.
Voorhees, Freddy Krueger,
Yeah.
and some people would say we need more action. Well, Wes, you and me talked about with Dudicus, we talked about No One Will Save You. And that film didn't have a
Yeah.
lot of action. That was about aliens, and
No.
I was intrigued by the characters. And in fact, the fucking girl never even talks. And I was intrigued by that film.
Yeah.
I felt like X until the first hour, it's really just kind of dragging on. And even when stuff starts happening, okay, an old woman stabs a guy in the neck, all right, and maybe because you've been in the military and you know the kind of people that are out there. I was never scared by an old horny woman with her husband.
Yeah, good point.
I'm just saying, like,
Good
I
point.
just at some point, I mean, maybe okay, one scene when he shoots Jenna Ortega with the shotgun, I could buy that. But other
Yeah.
than that, it's like, an old woman, even if she stabbed you in the fucking neck, I just can't see a fucking 80-pound, 95-year-old woman stab me to death. And as I'm sitting there going, oh, like I would have
Yeah.
get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. I hear you. I
Um,
hear you.
I did like Pearl better than X, which I'm not sure
Okay.
if I was supposed to, but because Pearl, like you said, is it Mia Goth or Mia Goth?
Goth, like
Yeah.
goth girl goth, like that.
Okay. Now Mia plays the character Pearl, which is the old woman, but it's the prequel. And at
Right.
least I found it interesting because of her dynamic, where she's got this really demanding, controlling mother. Her dad's fucking got a stroke, and her husband's
Yeah.
out to war, and you see like the slow decay of her mental state.
Yeah.
And it's not really a horror film, but I found Pearl to be more of a psychological thriller, and at least
Agreed.
he carried the film, and I didn't feel bored by that. Versus X, I mean, I like the last half hour of X, but I mean, come on, guys, call it what it is. You and me are far from being prudes. I got a Pornhub account. I don't give a shit. I'll tell anybody. I don't care.
Okay.
I get laid often. Come on. But
Okay.
in terms of porn, even like talking with Drinker yesterday, just saying like when House of the Dragon, we hit that point now where it's like shock value and sex scenes. Seeing porn in movies doesn't really do it like it did back in the 80s and 90s because porn is so readily available that,
Hmm.
I did hit the point with X where I'm like, I get it. You're filming a porno, just sex scene, sex scene, sex scene, sex scene. At this point, I want more horror. I want more character development.
I
I'm,
mean, that's fair.
I'm far
That's
from
fair.
being a fucking prude. I'm just saying, like, titties at this point, we've seen them a billion times. I can pop my fucking phone right now and Google breasts. It's not hard to
Sure.
find this shit.
No,
So,
I get it. I get it.
that's
That
why I
makes
said
sense.
I liked Pearl better than X, but what's your opinion about X and Pearl going into this film?
Yeah, so I really liked X just because it was kind of a throwback. Take it easy, Dark Hour. Just because it's kind of a throwback to the '80s slasher type things, not necessarily a Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, or Freddy Krueger type, but more like, kids out in the woods, and it's growing dread, almost like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre type of thing. Something bad's going to happen, but you're not exactly quite sure what it is. I also thought that the performances are really good by really everybody in that. And I think it's just one of those things. Plus, it's like, me, I'm a big Pitch Perfect fan, so seeing Brittany Snow from Pitch Perfect get naked and railed was pretty cool. But this was back. It seems like forever now, but just 2 years ago, Jenna Ortega was just another name. I mean, she was kind of coming up. She had done Scream that same year. But she wasn't this huge, like, bombastic person that she is now, celebrity. So it was interesting seeing her kind of play the innocent girl and stuff like that. And I think there's something creepy about old people. That M. Night Shyamalan movie, Old, or no, it's not Old. It's The Visit. That, like, was a really creepy movie to me. Old people kind of creep me out. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I did like the movie overall. I liked how it ended. It didn't seem too unbelievable to me. I liked the bookended thing where the cops come in before the movie actually starts, and then the events happen, and then we kind of circle back around. I did like that. I did like Pearl. Mia Goth got to show off a lot more. But you're right. I agree. It's more of like a psychological thriller type. But I mean, she really knocked it out of the park with a lot of that stuff. So I mean, but of the two, I would definitely say I liked X better than Pearl. Like I'll rewatch. I've already seen X twice. I'll rewatch it again. I might rewatch it tonight just to kind of gauge it off of this. And then Pearl, I've seen it once and I'm one and done. I don't care to see Pearl again. So I don't know if that helps. Oh, you lost your audio, big guy.
No, Sam, like right there, pictures like that where she carried Pearl because she was. I almost took
Yeah.
Pearl like almost like a dark comedy sometimes too.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's
And-
definitely really out
But-
there, and she
Yeah.
sells that crazy really well.
Oh, definitely. And it's very man. It doesn't happen often where you see the prequel. The prequel's tone is vastly different than the tone for X.
I
It-
agree.
It's like
I agree.
it's two way different films. Which, considering it's a prequel, that's I didn't see that coming.
No, neither did I. Although when they did a thing, so you didn't see these, but I saw X in the theater, and so when X was done, they went right into kind of like what Horizon did. They went like right into a preview for Pearl,
Oh wow!
and was
nice.
like, yeah, if you want, and they kind of like did a flash cut of Mia Goth as the old lady, and then they like de-age her and then
Mm.
show her as Pearl in the Pearl movie. And it's one of those things where it's just like, oh wow, okay, so they're really going all out into this.
It's
But yeah,
it's a hungry crocodile.
that was a hungry croc. Yeah,
And boy,
for sure.
boy, she is really horny too.
She was a horny girl.
This is
They
before-
don't call it the that's what led to the baby boomer generation. You know what I mean?
This before we had real dolls.
Yeah, I hear you.
All right. So we'll get into Maxine, which is funny to put it. Maxine triple XXX. Maxine is the sequel to X. And
Yes, direct
X-
sequel. Yeah.
and X is in 1970s. This is in 1980s. Do we know where the time jump between the films?
I believe X is late 70s, and I
Okay.
know for a fact that Maxine is 1985.
All right, I'm trying to find it now.
So whatever that's worth. So maybe 10 years, a little less, give or take.
Okay, yeah. So now we're in the 1980s, and she's in Hollywood, correct?
She is in Hollywood, yeah.
Okay, boy, and
Do
she's
you want a brief synopsis of it? So basically, the girl from Maxine, the girl from X, the survivor, lone survivor, it's 1980s Hollywood, specifically 1985. She's still doing adult films. She wants to break out and do something different. She's changed her name to Maxine Minx, which is obviously not unheard of for a porn star. It looks like she might get her big break with a horror movie of all things, a horror movie sequel, actually.
yeah.
And then this Night Stalker thing, it's set against the background of when the real life Night Stalker was in LA at the time, killing people. And there's basically, we're coming to find out, it's a copycat pretending to be the Night Stalker, killing various young actresses in Hollywood. So
Yeah, good synopsis. I think for me, Wes, man, the first I'd say half hour, I wasn't bored in a sense, but like almost. I mean, dude, oh god, how many just tropes that like we get it right? It's
yeah,
no different between 1985 or OnlyFans nowadays. These girls go out there, the whole hopes of like being a big actress.
Yep.
What happens?
Yep.
They have one skill set only. Either
Yeah.
they have big tits or big ass, and they're not always that intelligent, but they can't get into Hollywood. So what do? They start starring in pornos because they have nothing else to go for them.
right.
And
Fast money, slow problems.
yeah, and how many porn stars want to be actresses but they can't make it? That's why they do porn for, because they
Right.
have. And of course, I still joke about this being blue collar. God forbid you worked an actual job. It's just way easier to suck dick on camera versus go work for a living. But
Yeah.
That-
Well,
that's
it was well, I mean, I'll give them credit. They had that one scene where the chicks were, I think it was Halsey, was working in the nudie booth, the jerk off booth. I mean, they had to kind of do a lot. It was a lot more difficult then. You couldn't just sit in the
true.
comfort of your home with a camera, working on yourself or doing weirdo shit with your boyfriend. You had to like get up and go to a porno house and go. The guy would put a quarter, I think, in there, maybe $1. I don't know how much. Those things were already gone by the time I was.
well,
of any
the
decent
character
age.
in the film, he was putting in quarters.
Oh, he was. Okay.
Yeah, the guy with the
And
creepy
then
leather gloves.
the slide door thing pops up, and they do whatever they do. Yeah. So
Yeah, but so yeah, and of course we see John. How do you say his name? Giancarlo Esposito is in the film.
Yep, that's pretty good. That's
Which
good.
for the first time, because so many people have said that, boy, this guy's typecast to play the same character in every fucking movie and TV show. The first time he was not playing himself, which I was shocked.
Well, we don't know if he's not playing himself. We know he's
Well,
not playing Gus Fring.
Gus Fring. Yeah, exactly. No, because we're so used to seeing fucking being Gus Fring. Yeah, and he plays her sleazy. He's her talent lawyer agent.
Right.
And all right, and as you said, she's just out there, and boy, this girl has no problem doing lots of coke, neither.
Oh yeah. Well, it was the 80s, baby.
Oh yeah, John Carlo. I'm trying to look up his name. John Carlo. If I can find him. Where's pictures of him? Let's see. Yeah, they show a lot of pictures, but
Giancarlo Esposito always looks to me like he's still in the 80s. You know what I mean? Like he's very 80s. He has a very 80s look. He got his start in the 80s. He was in a couple bit parts in different movies like Maximum Overdrive and Taps, and then later King of New York. But the way that he carries himself, the way that he speaks, and just his overall look, he just looks like a guy from the 80s, you know?
yeah, he's got this really weird. I can't find it on the show. This really strange haircut for him is just not like
What's that? It's a hairpiece, buddy.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. His
Yeah.
hairpiece, like it doesn't nowhere near look like he's not like this. But yeah, and like you said, he just wants to get her into better movies. She gets a starring role. Well, yeah, I guess a starring role into a horror film, and to her, it's breaking out into like the mainstream. And because of the events of X, later on during the film, she gets a mysterious VHS tape, and it says, addressed to Maxine. And lo and behold, because remember, anybody watching, if you watch the end of X at the end, all the cops showed up and they found the camera. So now they have the camera footage because they were filming the porno and she left out of there. And guess what? Now we're gonna blackmail you. And I'd say probably maybe like an hour in, then Kevin Bacon shows up.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon playing a sleazy New Orleans private detective, as sleaze as sleaze can be in that. Just got the cheesy accent and the smoking and
what was the accent?
It was New Orleans.
Really? Okay.
And just really just the sleaziest. They just Googled sleazy PI from the 80s, and that's what they came up with Kevin Bacon, which I didn't think was bad. I didn't think he did a bad job.
Yeah, and playing the private investigator, and he talks a certain way, and so somebody hired the private investigator to find Maxine.
Right.
And you have to meet this person later on. They want to talk to you about this whole blackmail. And like you say, he's a private investigator. He's just in it for the money. Doesn't give a shit about her. He's like, I'm just here to fucking get paid. So
yeah.
What else? So basically, like you said, the Night Stalker killer is there, but people start mysteriously dying around Maxine, and the cops get involved. I forgot the two actors playing the cops. I'll look up in a second here.
Well, it's I don't know his name, but he's the guy that was the cop dad, replacement dad in Ant-Man, and then later he was in before he was in Boardwalk Empire and stuff like that. Italian actor guy.
Bobby
Cannavale. Yeah, Cannavale.
Yep.
And then it's and then it's what's her name from Gone Baby Gone.
Yep. Michelle Monaghan.
Michelle Monaghan.
Yep.
Playing ultra 80s cop, like as 80s cop, female male cops as cops could be, like the ultimate, like just textbook. I mean, everybody is basically textbook 80s in this movie.
Yes.
So
100%.
I mean, it's like even down to like the sleazy wannabe mugger / rapist in the alleyway. Everybody's always very 80s to fucked out. So
it's almost situations like I mean, because even both these characters, can you even remember the detectives' names?
Oh, I definitely not.
Exactly.
Definitely not. And it's not important that you do so either.
I think something some people were saying out in the social media spheres, there's one scene maybe 45 minutes in where Maxine is walking and someone's following behind her. A guy pulls out a knife and he's threatening to kill her. She can't get away. She turns around, she pulls out a gun. I'm not mad about that scene because come on, it's LA, it's the fucking 80s. You think guys in back alleys weren't doing shit to women back then? I mean, it's pretty realistic. It happens fucking nowadays. But spend 5 seconds on Twitter, guys. You think that this shit still doesn't go on. Some people felt like that was a feminist trope, which it wasn't. But Maxine pulls out a gun and she tells this guy to basically get naked, get on your knees, and I've been threatened to be killed before, and I've escaped. I've done some shit, referencing what happened in X. But there is a gruesome scene, and you texted me where this guy is like he's lying face down. No bullshit to the audience. He's in the alleyway, and she walks up behind him, and she takes her heels and she crunches down, and like it's makeup job, but like you see his balls explode. And you're like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And you can hear it too.
It's rough. It's rough.
ooh boy.
Yeah, it was really rough.
But I
Really
mean,
rough.
said I didn't want it to be a feminist trope because I've got 3 sisters, and as somebody who does Uber sometimes, I've had people in my car that they have friends who are Uber drivers. In 2024, a female driver, I've talked to people that their friends will put a fucking gun in a glove department or a taser on their person because guys, it's this shit's rough nowadays. And
Yeah.
80s was pretty fucking wild, man, especially in LA and everybody doing coke and doing all this crazy shit. It wouldn't surprise me for a woman to be walking home to have a gun in her fucking purse. You can't blame her.
No.
I don't find it to be feminist, guys. It's like, come on. It's like, it's
No, for
don't
sure. Yeah. No,
like,
it's fine. I don't have any problem with that. There's definite problems with the movies, but that is
oh
not
yeah,
one of them.
yeah,
Yeah, for sure. So we go along, following along. I'm going to keep it spoiler free here at the beginning, but
yeah,
she does in fact get the gig. She goes to, basically on Hollywood set where a lot of the action
yeah.
takes place, and she meets writer, director, producer lady, British lady who is
Right
played by
here. Yep.
Elizabeth Debicki, who you'd recognize her from either Widows, Guardians of the Galaxy. She was also in
Yes.
Tenet. She's this extremely tall, like I knew who she was immediately, even though she looked different because she was towering over Mia Goth, who Mia Goth is already tall.
Yeah.
And she's like towering over her, so she's like abnormally tall.
Mhm.
And so she's basically your feminist cutout British chick, basically
Yeah.
what Kathleen Kennedy spunks off to every single time she
Yeah.
gets a chance, and probably thinks that she is. And she's trying to get her second movie in her horror trilogy out, The Puritan Part 2. It's being
Mm.
widely protested by the alt-right Christian groups.
Which
Um,
does happen.
yeah, it does happen, and it
Yeah.
certainly happened then. There was a big thing
Yeah.
going on, especially when Richard Ramirez was running around killing people,
Oh,
real life serial killer.
dude, no bullshit. I mean, said people can be love or hate Kevin Smith, but I remember when Dogma came out, and this was pre-internet. I will never forget walking into a theater. I was seeing something else. I forgot because I was in my early teenager. But like when Dogma was coming out, I seen at my mall in New York, they had like 5 guys all walk in front of theaters just talking about Dogma is blasphemy and Dogma against Kevin Smith, and I'm like,
Wow.
yeah, I mean, and that's just Dogma. So,
Did you know at one of those protests, Kevin Smith was actually in there
oh yeah,
with the
yeah.
protesters? That's
No,
actually back when he was still cool.
that's what I'm saying. Like, people can dislike Kevin now, but there was a time where it's like, but even like a film like Dogma, which was a comedy, people were protesting that shit. So I'm again, because people get so hypersensitive with politics now, I am totally like for the fact that back in the fucking 80s, that certain Christian groups will be protesting, especially this director tells her that, you're a porn star and I had to fight to get you in this film because it's funny how slasher films, people can be decapitated, but porn stars are the limit. And
Yeah.
that happens nowadays. People won't cast porn actresses in fucking movies,
Yeah.
but then you'll watch Game of Thrones and people are fucking each other all the damn time. But so it's okay to see dicks and ass in,
Yeah.
but then you
It's
can't
one of those things where there very few porn stars have made it through, usually because they don't want to.
smell gooch.
Uh, Sasha Grey is one. She jumped into horror movies, and Soderbergh kind of got her legitimized a little bit. And then in the 80s, they had what's her name from Blade. She had popped in there.
Oh, fucking, I don't even know.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Uh,
Lords. Tracy Lords.
Tracy Lords. Thank
Yeah.
you. You would think I would know her name, right?
Oh, we should know.
But yeah, so like it does happen, but it doesn't happen very often. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I mean, Maxine is definitely trying to make it happen.
Yeah.
She's got pressure from the cops because her friends are getting killed, including her, one of her, actual like regular friends that's not in the industry. She's got a pressure from the PI. The PI is basically blackmailing her to, fall in line and meet up with what you would presume would be the killer is who he's working for. And he's blackmailing her with like, hey, you were the only person to escape from there. And yeah, you did defend yourself, but you did actually commit a couple murders. So
Mhm.
I'm going to out you if you don't play ball. And then she's got, the obvious thing is the killer's running around out there. And then on top of that, she's trying to make good on her career. So, she makes some questionable choices, couple cool set pieces. It's a very 80s looking movie.
Yes.
Whoever did it did very well. It's exactly how I remember the 80s to be. I enjoyed that. They got a couple really good music choices. They didn't really like overdo them with like, member berries. They made some good music choices.
Yeah.
Some stuff that you would expect them to make, and then other ones that you like, oh, okay, I remember this. They didn't go the whole Beverly Hills Cop Axel F and just beat
Yeah.
you over the head with it.
Do.
Yeah, so they definitely
Oh,
go
I
ahead.
I know you know this, dude. Remember fucking rotary phones?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I was like, I seen that, I started laughing. I'm like, man,
yeah,
how many like my son's generation will never know what a fucking rotary phone is.
yeah. They wouldn't even know how to use that thing. So yeah, no, there was never, I will say this for it, definitely as a compliment. There was never, up into the end of the movie, there was never a point in the film where I was like, oh, that's Hollywood as fuck. That doesn't look like, that's not the 80s. I don't
Yeah,
believe it.
I'll go with you on that one. Yeah.
But yeah, no, and it culminates, she's a little boss baby type thing, but not completely unbelievably so. And I don't want to get into spoilers yet in the review, so I'll just say that, it does reach its logical completion for what it is. And uh,
Yeah.
as far as I would go, and I'll get more into my review at the end after we talk a little bit more. But it does tie it up. It ties up the trilogy. I definitely think it's the
Yeah.
weakest of the trilogy for sure,
Yeah.
um, by a very far mile. But I can't get into specifics
Yeah.
as why
Well,
I think that until we get to our spoiler section.
yeah, I guess because it means sometimes guys, certain low bars go longer than others. With this film, it's not really plot heavy. I don't see us talking about this film much longer. Some low bars are pretty short, man. That's how it goes.
Yeah,
I don't.
if you want to get what else you got to say before the 30-minute mark, and then we can get into spoilers and
Yeah.
tell everybody to fuck
Um.
off if they don't want to hear them, then go
Yeah,
for it.
like we'll tell chat. As usual, we'll go over our questions, our rating system. Then I'll flash the spoilers because if you care, but it is a new film. There are spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, it does seem like it wraps up a trilogy. I would say Mia Goth is a good actress. I do like
Yes.
her, and like you said,
Yes.
Kevin Bacon's in it. Giancarlo Esposito. I don't feel like any of the actors phoned it in. I feel like everybody
Okay.
for the material they were given, they did good performances. It's just yeah, half the characters were guy A, guy B, chick here,
Sure.
someone
Yeah.
gets
Yeah.
killed,
For sure.
and
For
the
sure.
entire fucking plot is something I feel like we've seen time and time again. When we get into the ending I saw a fucking mile away. Nothing,
Hmm.
I think, but as we get into it, when we get into spoilers, the bad guy, I thought the bad guy, the fucking dialogue and acting was so over the top. I'm like, are they purposely going for that, or is just this guy a bad actor? Because
Yeah. I don't know.
his delivery was fucking awful. I'm like, to the point, I saw a couple times, I'm laughing. I'm like, is this supposed to be a comedy? That's how
Yeah.
bad. That's how bad when we get to the end of the film, the bad guy, his acting was fucking atrocious. I'm like, whoa, like this is his acting is like it's like a different film than Pearl and X.
Yeah.
But
I'll go with you on that. I'll go with
yeah,
you on that.
so let me pull up the slides. But yeah, guys, we can't really say much more because yeah,
Yeah.
it's the end of a trilogy, and it's a cliche. Porn actress wants to get into Hollywood movies, and there's somebody who knows her dark past, and they're blackmailing her, and that's it.
That's basically it. Yeah.
I'll let you go first.
Did I like it? I barely liked it. I liked it for all the reasons that I usually don't like stuff. I liked it because it is a nice, cool little slice of 1980s nostalgia,
Mm.
which I still think is one of the best decades. It like I said earlier, I it never feels like it's not the 1980s. I believe if I read it, and I don't really understand things like this as much as you and especially Enzo do, but I guess it was filmed in the same way that they would film a 1980s movie, and I appreciate that. It definitely looked like it. None of the stuff was unbelievable to me. I mean, I liked it, but just barely, just barely. Um,
Okay.
would I recommend it? I'm going to say I won't recommend it. I liked it for my own personal reasons, and I don't think that most people would share my reasoning. If you just really feel like you've got to know what happens with the trilogy, then yeah, I guess you kind of got to watch it. But it's definitely not something I would recommend. I'm not telling anybody to watch it. I wouldn't tell myself to watch it. And should you, the more specific to that, should you spend your hard-earned money? Definitely don't. Definitely do not. I regret the $11 that I paid for this. I mean, we had to because of the review. Maybe at this point, if we keep doing all these reviews, I guess I'll probably bite the bullet and get the great Regal app that my buddy Blue Collar has, which is how much a month, Blue Collar?
For me, Lord Toxic, it is $24.99 a month plus taxes and fees where they apply. But
And
yes,
and how many movies do I get to watch?
you get to see unlimited plus perks like this. This top
Unlimited
there.
movies and special perks. Yeah, if we keep going to movies like this, I will probably do it because I know that I've spent way more
She
than
did.
that just in the last.
I know she did. I would have asked her on. Shit. Damn it.
Yeah, I didn't. I did know she did it.
I'm
I did
sorry,
not
Nadia.
watch. I didn't watch Nadia's review just because I wanted to kind of go in this with like unencumbered with any kind of bias. But
Yes.
but yeah, don't spend your money on this. Wait for it to come on streaming. It's not something that I'm like, you've got to support this movie because it's a smaller A24 movie. They're doing fine. I definitely would not recommend it for you to spend any money on it. If you can sail the 7 seas and watch it, I definitely recommend that. That's like,
Damn.
I definitely don't think you should even rent it. Although I heard Redbox is going the way of the dodo anyway. So
Yeah, unfortunately,
yeah.
I like Redbox, but that's different talk.
I think it's gone. We might have to do a show. I'm
You're
not.
right.
How am I? I'm not shilling. Oh, for the Regal app. Yeah, we do shill. We shill for Regal app for
Yeah.
sure. For sure, we definitely do that. Yeah. Oh,
Mm.
delicious.
Oh, anyway.
Oh, refreshing. But yeah, it's definitely not something I can, in good conscience, recommend.
100% agree. Did I like it? It's one of the films where I didn't hate it, but at an hour and 41 minutes long, I feel like they could have shaved 15 minutes off it.
Oh
And
wow.
I mean, I'm being generous,
Wow.
but it felt like one of the films, like it's a 45-minute movie dragged out. I just feel like there wasn't enough material, the characters you didn't care about, and just because even Vex, when she sees this, because Vex is working, that she's like, Chris, I'm curious about how do you feel watching Pearl X in this one? Boy, it's like I think if this is a trilogy, depending on box office, this is
Sure.
a shitty way to end a trilogy. It
Oh
feels
yeah,
like
for sure.
it feels like this is damn sure the weakest of the 3 films because it said X.
Agreed.
I didn't hate X, I didn't like as much as Pearl, but I still could get something out of X versus this. I'm just like, yeah, everything is just so cliche, so been there, done that. So like I'm watching it thinking, yeah, like man, I've seen better versions of this film.
Yeah.
Would I recommend it? Yeah, I mean, just like you said, Lord Toxic, I have watched all 3 films in this franchise, and compared to the first 2, I would honestly not recommend it. And if you are curious to see how this trilogy ends, would you spend your money on it? I didn't pay for it, but had I paid for it, I would have been pissed off. I would not, in good conscience, tell anybody to go blow 15, 16 bucks for this film. As you said, wait for it. It's A24. It'll be on Tubi or something, or just some other form.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not worth your hard-earned money. I would say, if you want to see it, just see it to complete the trilogy.
Okay.
I'm going to show right here our buddy. Yeah, she's not going to care, but yeah. So this is our let's see, right. So Vex Electronica, Vex one, because she's doing her own review. But yeah, Vex says Maxine is probably the most disappointed I've been in a horror sequel in quite some time. While the performances are immense, Ty West seems to prioritize perfecting the 80s backdrop and jangling era-relevant bait that he forgets to create a compelling plot. And she just said what you said, Lord Toxic.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't read her review first, or else be in
Mm.
trouble for plagiarism. But you know what? Yeah, I cannot disagree with her more. I mean, it's
Yeah.
definitely a based review. I'm glad I didn't read it first, and I could come up with my own opinion. But I can't say that I can argue with her. Yeah.
Well, Vex, and people know, like I said, I would always tell people, I say blue collar, Vex is actually at work. You work. Everybody, I
Yeah.
surround myself with great people. Vex, this woman busts her ass, and she sleeps less than I do. So she did
Yeah.
want to come on, but she's like, hey, I'm busy. We respect her for that.
No, yeah,
And-
that's cool. I mean, I don't respect her in general because she's a woman,
Well,
but
yeah,
I mean,
well,
I respect her as a critic.
Exactly.
I just don't
About that.
respect her gender.
All right, guys. So we will get into chapter. We rate this. We get into spoilers, but I'm sure you can probably tell we're gonna go. I mean, Lord Toxic, this probably is going to be a $200 bottle of Chardonnay, right? Like,
Sure, or yeah, something. But yeah, no, this is this is bottom shelf. This is really low hanging fruit, bottom shelf. And when I give my spoiler details, you'll kind of understand why, because I've been really nice trying not, but it's really hard to explain why I can't give it a good review until I say that. So, take my
Yeah.
judgment for whatever you want if you're
Yeah.
not going to listen to the spoilers.
Same thing, guys, for me. But to copy off you, bottom shelf, I just, it's didn't hate it. I've watched worse. I've drank worse whiskey, but it is what it is. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'll do this so guys, our review is over 37 minutes. We'll talk spoilers for maybe 5-6 minutes because not a lot to spoil. But as Nick would say, in case you have epileptic seizures, holy shit, watch out.
You okay?
Oh yeah, no, I'm not. But yeah, there we go.
This
That's
is your last chance. If you don't want anything spoiled from this movie or to a lesser degree the other two, you need to get the fuck out of here.
Yes. Oh my god, Maxine has more boars than a. I can't even say it.
Yeah. Based opinion, Vex.
Oh,
Definitely a based
what
opinion.
a beast. Oh, her gender. Yeah. Damn it. All right, we'll get into the spoilers. So what's the major spoil you want to talk about? I give him credit. I didn't see it coming because Maxine's being stalked by some weird person with leather gloves, and everybody died at the end of X. So I'm like, who the fuck could it be? Who could possibly be this person stalking?
The only one that
Maxine?
it could be, her fucking dad. Of course it's her dad.
Well, I
Of
thought-
course it's her dad. Did you really think it was anybody else?
No, but just
It's so obvious that it's her dad. It's so obvious.
Maybe it was the crocodile. Okay.
And if you weren't sure if it was her dad, then the fact that the other whores get kidnapped by multiple people, who has the money and the power? I mean, especially you having just watched the first one today, you must have instantly been thinking, well, rich televangelist dad must be doing it. I mean, I have 2 years, well, maybe not 2 years because I have watched it in the interim, but shut up, Nix. Yeah, no, it's so obvious. And then, like so many other movies have done, they put the basic whole story in the trailer. They put all of the things in the trailer. And speaking of things that they put in the trailer, Halsey, they make a big deal that they've got Halsey in this movie playing a very unattractive version of herself. Vex wants to come in, big dog.
Really?
Yeah,
sure. 1 second.
So
I just assumed you're at work. That's why. Sorry, buddy.
I think she's on break or something.
Okay,
She's in all of the trailers. She's, all of the we got Halsey in this, and she's playing this bargain basement Harley Quinn type, just kill off character immediately. The two detectives are so paper thin. It's crazy how paper thin the two detectives are, and they're good actors. This is what pisses me off. They've got Giancarlo Esposito, Michelle Monaghan. They've got Halsey. They've got even the guy that plays her gay black video store friend. He's a good actor. I don't know. I don't know what else. I don't know what else. Yeah, I don't. Well, I there was no way to talk about him without spoiling, so I wanted to wait till the spoilers.
She's got a gay black friend who gets killed.
Yeah, because of course she does. And it's just like, dude, who else would have had the money and the resources to get that videotape copied from the Texas, police department's lockup and be able to hire a private eye and do this stuff? And who would have the reasoning to do it? It's so obviously the dad. Now, if they wanted to been smart, they could have set the dad up as like a red herring, and then it was somebody else. They have the girl. Did you notice the girl, the makeup costume girl, is the girl from Yellow Jackets that we like, and she was in Boogeyman.
I honestly didn't notice.
You didn't notice that? Yeah. I don't know what her name is. She's the one that plays the young version of Juliette Lewis.
He's right.
But
He's
yeah,
right. I'm just gonna sit back and just like watch the fuck internet explode. But yeah.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things where, and then it's got these huge pacing problems where it has a bunch of nothing happening and then way too much happening, which doesn't have. I mean, she fucking attacks the dude, the PI guy, in his car with the car keys, and then he's gonna turn into his own serial killer and come after him. And yeah, I like the way they dealt with it. What's up, Vex? But I don't like. Sorry, I'm on a rant. I don't like how they paid it off. I did like his little slimy character, but they didn't do enough with it. It really kind of felt to me like there was like miles of film on the cutting room floor. But speaking of on the floor, I'm gonna hand this over to Vex because she's probably on her break, gracing us with her presence right now. So
Well, no, I work from home on Fridays, but it's just
Okay.
I got to prioritize, right? That's all.
Yeah.
no, yeah, great.
Um,
No, take the floor. It's all yours.
Hold on. So, quick question. First off, thank you for the invite. Second of all,
God.
Oh yeah,
I got a
listen,
Uh,
I've
I
already
got a
seen
full
one.
screen.
I've already
Oh.
seen one horror movie today, Blue Collar. Don't subject me to another one. Come on
God
now.
damn.
Here we go. There we go.
Oh, much. Oh, hell,
Oh my God,
put
hold on.
that one up.
Jesus
No, that's.
Christ.
Oh yeah, that's the stuff right there.
I'm turning off my
Woo!
camera. Hold on a second.
Oh man, I gotta. Hey, I'm gonna be right back, guys. I'll be right back. I gotta make some macaroni and cheese.
Ugh.
No, I'm sorry. I'm gonna shut up. Do your thing.
No,
Vex.
you're
Go
good.
for
You're good. Okay. What did you guys think about X and Pearl?
it. We liked them.
Like
We
I said,
liked
I,
them.
I like like I told you, Vex. I liked Pearl better. I didn't hate
Yeah.
X. I just I felt like
Yeah.
I'm so used to. I mean, Alien Romulus, Predator, Jason Voorhees. Like I get what they're going for. I just after 1 hour, I'm like, will somebody die already? Jesus Christ. And
Yeah.
finally, someone dies. But I was
Yeah.
telling Lori Toxic. I mean, we're not. I'm not the size of the Rock, but a horny 85-year-old woman and her decrepit husband, I'm just not terrified of them.
Yeah.
But I did like it though. I just like
Yeah.
I liked Pearl better. That's all.
I get
I think we disagreed on that. I liked X a lot
Yeah.
better. I didn't dislike Pearl. I liked it for what it was, but I just thought it was really unnecessary. I did like Mia Goth's acting in that.
Mhm.
Yes.
And it's a shame that it went sideways with this one. But I'll get to that after Vex gets to say her piece. But I did.
Oh.
We both agreed. We both liked the other two. I liked X more. He liked Pearl more. But we both liked the other two. If that
Okay,
helps.
okay. Yeah, so just like the other two, I mean whether you liked or disliked them, right? It's so Ty West, there are overarching themes for both of the films, right? It was like
Okay.
what beauty can offer, the loss of beauty, the
Sure.
desperation for fame, for a
And
better life.
Ty West is the director, right?
Director and writer, yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and there's also kind of this underlying theme of breaking out of the traditional roles for women and
Okay.
embracing modernity, sort of, right? So you can see that in both X and Pearl. So when Maxine comes along, I'm thinking, okay, even though Pearl and X are two completely different films, Maxine will still continue exploring those same themes. But he seems to only really embrace the fact that Maxine is trying. No, hold on. How do I say this? There's only one instance where it seems that Maxine might be having a bit of an arc or growing in some way, and it's legitimately when, spoiler, she smashes that dude's testicles in the alleyway. Like, the
Yeah.
entire thing is symbolic of her leaving the sex industry, and that's ultimately her goal.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's the only point in the film where I felt, okay, this is something symbolic that's going to add to her growth.
I didn't
And
catch.
then
Did you catch that, Blue Collar? I didn't catch that symbolism in that.
No, but I mean that's why I like having
It
opinions.
makes sense. Yeah, it
There-
makes sense.
no,
I
okay,
didn't catch that. I'm not
That's
gonna
why
lie.
I like a lot of different opinions because I didn't catch that at all. But that's really good.
Yeah.
it's the whole like the sucking on the gun like it's a dick, getting on the knees, it's like stripping
Ah,
naked kind of deal,
okay.
right? And then
Okay.
destroying kind of the thing that you hold most to you,
Hmm.
or is kind of
Okay.
like it's like the ultimate symbol of masculinity kind of deal, right?
Wow.
Okay.
So, and then after that,
We're so
she-
stupid. We didn't
Well,
get,
I'm
we
just
didn't
saying,
get any of
I
that.
mean,
it's fine, right? I can understand if there's things that aren't picked up because this movie is
Yeah.
trying to do way too much
well,
and nothing
Yes.
ever really comes together.
Yes.
I was just gonna say. I mean, what guy doesn't like sucking on a gun? I mean, come on.
Wow.
Anyway,
Wow.
but
Hey Vex, just because I'm not attracted, you can go ahead and put your picture back up. It's totally fine. We need the
I want
views.
Henry Cavill. God damn it.
Oh, okay.
So, and then after that, it just seems like everything of just convenient things seem to happen to make sure that Maxine doesn't get harmed, to make sure that she isn't damaged in any way, so
Oh,
that
yeah.
we have this strong protagonist by the end.
Right.
So like her friends start going missing, and yeah, I kind of picked up that it was a dad right away. I was like,
Yeah.
who else is
God damn
left?
it.
that
Who
Max-
else would it be? Yeah. Who
Yeah.
else would it be?
There's no one else it could possibly be, right? And that was one of the things that X had left open ended too.
Yeah.
So it couldn't have been anyone else. Her father kills all of her friends, which I just kind of saw as okay, he's trying to quite literally exterminate all of the evil out of her life. So sex worker friends, gay black best friend, it all
Sure.
fucking makes sense, right? And then
Right.
the harlot that is just seeking fame kind of deal and will do anything to get it, all made
Mm.
sense.
Okay.
But then he finally gets Maxine at the end of the film when she finally goes to the house in the Hollywood Hills, which no fucking security for a person who's
Right.
murdering random bitches left, right, and
Yeah.
center, apparently.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. She goes to the house in the hills, and her dad's whole thing is, well, I just want you back. I just want you to be my little girl again.
Uh-huh.
And then all of these people just kind of come out of nowhere, and it becomes like a satanic ritual thing, but it
Mm.
doesn't
Right.
explain why he was trying to write it off as like actual murders. Like he
Yeah.
was trying to copy the Night Stalker stuff by putting the symbols and everything, but it doesn't make sense why he would try to mask his killings for another. The Night Stalker angle never really pays off aside from that one scene in the
No.
Yeah.
alleyway with the testicle crush, which again I was really annoyed by because that was an angle that could have been worked far better.
Yeah.
Then there's the whole subplot with the cops trying to talk to Maxine because, you know, her friends are turning up dead and whatnot. And they just kind of make them these like typically stupid, incompetent, you know, almost
Big
like
time.
comedic police.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
they don't
Yeah.
know how to do their job whatsoever. They're always trying to play, oh, I wanted to be an actor once too. And then
Oh my
again,
God,
spoilers.
yes. He said that.
And
I'm like, oh,
Right at the end, when they go up to the Hollywood sign, the one guy dies, right, and then Michelle Monaghan's character
yep.
pops out of nowhere, and she's got a fucking cross in her eye,
Yeah.
and she just doesn't.
I told you I got him.
Yeah.
I laughed out loud at that. It was
So did I.
dumb.
So did I.
Oh.
People were like looking at me like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like,
Well-
"What's wrong with it? I didn't write the fucking movie."
Yeah.
Right.
That's in Black Lives. It doesn't go anywhere, but he makes a small, it's only one piece of dialogue. He's like, you like me because I'm the one guy not trying to fuck you because
Exactly.
he's gay. But that's the only arc you get from him. That's
And
it.
he's not over. But to be fair, he's not over the top. It's not like a
No, but we
hey,
just-
yes, queen. You know, he's just
Yeah.
like a regular dude that works at a video store. Like,
yeah,
it's
but, I mean,
Exactly.
but he's only in a handful of scenes though. He's not.
Yeah,
He's not an
yeah.
important. Nobody's an
I
important
think
character.
he's the one death that actually bothers her of the people. I think she really didn't give a
Yeah,
fuck
for
about any
her.
of the other people.
Yeah.
Her friends from the first movie or her friends from this movie, but I think that was the one that actually like she was like, "Oh, hell no." You know,
Mhm.
this
True.
upsets me. So
Well,
But-
now let me ask you two real quick because I got you both here. So was the dad gonna make a fake exorcism movie to promote his thing, or was he really fixing a killer?
you go ahead first, BCL.
I know. I think he was going to save her. It's just because in his twisted fucking mind, he feels like, and this could be political, but like how many women go to Hollywood, they turn into prostitutes and sluts and whores, and how many Christian fathers feel like they lose
Right.
their little girls to that industry. So in his twisted mind, he was trying to use her to expose how many dads out there losing their kids. And I do feel like he was still going to keep her because he's fucked up in his own way, but in his messed up head, he's doing it for the right reasons for his daughter. So I never got the fact he was going to kill her. It's just
Okay.
his twisted way of like killing everybody around her. Because remember, he's like, you've been infested by the devil. I have to cure you. And it's kind of
Right.
warped, but that does happen in real life. So
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
I didn't get that at all. For me, it was more that he too is consumed by the same sin that she is. So he's this prolific television pastor who's, you
Mm.
know, it's clear that he has an influence on this whole, you know, satanic panic, the devil stole my daughter or my kid
Yeah.
or whatever protests that are happening too, right? But I
Which,
think
by
it
the way, was
more-
another big giveaway of who the fucking killer was too. When they
Right.
kept zooming in on that one fat Mexican cowboy with the fucking hat and the sign that said, you know, my daughter, that Hollywood took my daughter or some shit. It's like, dude, of course. So of course it is. Of course it
Right.
is.
And oh, by the way, I don't know if you guys catched it, but there is one scene where you can see the close up of one of the protesters, and they're wearing a shirt with Jenna Ortega on it.
I
and
did not.
see it.
I did not.
Yeah,
That's
it's like
awesome.
it stole like the devil stole my daughter,
How
or
do you
like
see
it was
that?
like Sharon
Ah.
stole my daughter. Yeah. So I look for it, right? That's
Apparently,
God damn, man.
Jesus.
I mean,
Vex is
I have LASIK and I didn't see that
Yeah,
shit. Like,
I thought I was a fucking
Yeah.
detective. Jesus, fucking Vex is over here like Clarice Starling. This bitch. She's like the unsub was moving towards the back of the room, and he had he moved with his left foot, and it's like, all right, Jesus, your husband better never cheat on you. He's gonna get caught in like 10 seconds. Fuck,
he's afraid.
So
he should be.
there was, which I'll come back to that point later, because again, this whole movie shouldn't have happened if that is a thing that they're putting in there. But yeah, back to the father. So he wants fame, but in a different respect, right? And he thinks that his fame is just because he's doing it to preach the word of God. He's doing it to save people. But
Yeah.
ultimately, he's using Maxine the way that Maxine used all of her friends and her lover in X, which was just to try and get a leg up above everyone else. So I genuinely don't think that he really ever loved Maxine. And I feel that the opening little like flashback with the home footage, I think that's
Yeah.
indicative of that, because he never says that, you know, like, you're my darling, like you're my pride and joy, or any of that. It's just more like, what do we want? It's he's training her in that cult mentality, because he knows that when she grows up, if it all pans out, there's something he can get out of it, right?
Yeah.
And even like by the end of the film, after he dies, you kind of see that play out in the way that he doesn't want. Like, she is now thrust into fame because she's caught a murderer, and that in turn makes her acting career take off, and she's a starlet all of a sudden.
As it
So
would.
yeah, I didn't really see it as him trying to get justice or do anything good. It was just that, like, evil is pervasive, and it's everywhere, even in the parts that we think are good or just or better, sort of deal. But the Jenna Ortega like t-shirt bit. So Maxine gets sent a videotape somewhere around the halfway point, right? And it turns out that it's the porno that they shot in the first one. And I'm just thinking, like, okay, all of these little side characters that she's encountered so far, they all know who she is. She's got a big name in porn. So you're telling me over 6 years, Texas has been hanging on to this fucking pornographic film, and they can't tell that's Maxine Minx? They've got one of the kids from that porno on t-shirts of protesters in LA, and you're telling me that. And this is at the same time where LA is like front and center because the Night Stalker stuff is also happening.
True.
And you're telling me that nobody has put 2 and 2 together, that, oh, like, she looks a little bit familiar, you know? It just, again, it's like everyone is purposely dumb to allow for whatever plot there is to happen, sort of deal.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I guess someone might headcanon it and say that the father, the televangelist influence, he was sort of trying, maybe he was paying somebody off to keep it under wraps. I mean, he certainly paid somebody off to make a copy of it in order to let the PI send it to her. So you could maybe headcanon that, but yeah, that doesn't hold a lot of water.
Yeah.
So,
because you have to you have to build your own canon. I don't like when movies do that, right?
Yeah, no,
Especially when it's something like this, where in X and Pearl, it was very clear that everything was happening for a reason, all tied back together by the end of the film, whether it was in what happens or how the characters evolved. But there's just so many things that happen here that never have a payoff or go anywhere. So, like, there's just the whole nostalgia bait too, when she goes and visits the Universal Studios lot, and they show off the Bates house and the Bates Motel.
Psycho,
yeah, they use that as much as they got a hold of that thing, and we're like, we are putting it in as many scenes as we can.
Right. And then you think, like, okay, maybe this is going to be something, because, like, you can see the influences very clearly in X. You can tell what films Ty West took his inspiration from. And I'm like, okay, we're going to get some, like, Bates Motel Psycho vibes, maybe, like, play into the plot. And all that fucking happens is that somehow Kevin Bacon, at his age, looking his age, manages to chase this woman literally across the entire Universal Studio lot into this house with a gun in his hand, by the way, that he never fires once. Also mysteriously somehow got onto this lot when there's multiple shots of us seeing guards and officers lining, like, keeping protesters out and whatnot. And that security is pretty beefed up anyways. I mean, he doesn't do anything. Him as a character, sorry, I'm on a rant. Just cut me off whenever.
No, go ahead.
No, you're good. No, rant
Okay.
away.
Because I just
Rant
want to
away,
say,
my friend.
in Hollywood, especially in the 80s, people are fucking morons. So I'll go with that. Maybe.
Yeah, but no,
Yeah.
she's right though. It's just the fact that all of these things, these plot holes, they happen when the plot needs them to. Like in order to move the plot along, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, he can get on the lot and chase her around. If they really wanted to, screenwriter Wes would say, if they really wanted to have subverted, they could have made it seem and kind of give more hints that it is the dad. Not that they needed to give more hints, but let's assume that they did. And then it turns out who it really is the mom. And the mom is the one that's actually doing it. And then they could have played off of that psycho thing or
Right.
something, instead of just the last part of the third act throwing the televangelist dad in there. I mean, it was just really contrived and silly. And then, you got all his minions, all who have automatic weapons, but stormtrooper aim can't take out two dipshit cops. And it's just like, dude, come on, man. This is getting, that third act was just such a shit show.
Ridiculous.
It was bad.
And
ridiculous.
to caveat on what I said earlier, the reason why I gave the other two such high marks is because, especially in Pearl, even though it wasn't my favorite of the two, Mia Goth's acting is really good. She's phenomenal.
Spectacular.
This one, you said blue collar in yours. You didn't really feel like anybody phoned it in. I really feel like Mia Goth phoned it in this. She looks like she's on fucking tranquilizers through the whole movie. She definitely doesn't look like she's on coke. Even when she's doing all her wild shit, she looks like she's half asleep through this. She really kind of just phoned it in this one. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's just my opinion. I don't know. She was on fire in X, and she was really on fire in Pearl. But in this one, she's just so subdued. I
think that's more of a reflection of Ty West as a director, in all honesty, because
Yeah.
Could be.
even if her performance feels like, I agree with you, it never feels like she's delivering as hard as she used to. But then on top of that, it's like this movie is so all over the place. I just wonder, as an actress, if she's really able to immerse herself in what Ty is trying to get her to do, or
There
what
you
her
go.
character's supposed motivations are.
Look at her face. Look, dude, she's just about to get sexually assaulted in a dark alley. She realizes she's trapped, and now she's turning the table. She pulls out her pistol, and she looks like she's ordering a pizza. Like she's just like, her face.
Yeah.
Like, did she get too much Botox?
I mean, I just took it as after the events of X, she's more jaded and fucked up because of that movie.
That's what I thought as well, for the most part,
Yeah.
because she's been in Hollywood for 6 years now. She's still doing cocaine. She says that she's approaching like 32, 33.
Yeah.
Porn stars age like fucking
Right.
milk. She even says that.
Yeah.
So-
She's been pounded more than the beaches at Normandy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. More bodies than John Wick.
But Vex, to ask you, because I did ask Toxic this, when the dad's revealed, that third act there, whenever the dad was speaking, I'm like, it's like Evil Dead acting. And I'm like, is
Yes.
that what they're
It
purposely
was
going for?
cartoonish.
It was
Yeah.
so over the top where it's like, I can understand if it's over the top film, it's supposed to be, but it's like the dad, his scenes and his mannerisms, it's so like, I mean, I would watch that, just show those scenes, just to show how fucking stupid it was. Like, yes, I'm here with you and the Lord, and yes, it's so out there. I'm like, what the fuck is? It's like a whole different movie. Like,
I agree. And like I think like you can maybe partially write it off because, oh, he's a fanatical preacher. We've seen the footage from X and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it never comes off as like this is a crazed lunatic, which is how it's intended. It comes off, like you said, evil deady, cartoonish, just silly. I can't take it seriously anymore in your final act.
I also don't believe that her DJ friend and her fucking lawyer is just gonna straight up murder a fucking private investigator
dang it.
on
Okay,
her
This
direction.
is LA though.
I can believe that, in all honesty, but here's what I
Really?
don't believe. Okay. Yeah, I can totally believe that like there are Hollywood agents and lawyers out here that will totally fucking kill someone on behalf of their client. I can
Absolutely,
totally
yeah.
buy it. Yeah. Especially in the 80s. Yeah. But the bigger problem with this is, so she meets the private eye finally at that fancy hotel or diner or whatever. And he says, my client is hired. My client's going to pay me no matter what you do and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And he seems pretty like, okay, I'm paid to do something, so I'll do it. He even sits by and is the getaway driver for the murder the dad commits on the black gay friend, right? And Maxine is aware, like, again, he said it to her face multiple times, the person that hired me sort of deal. So instead of trying to pull information from this guy as he's literally begging for his life in this car, they just fucking kill him, and then they completely forget that there is someone out there
Good point.
that actually wants Maxine.
Good point.
Yeah.
I
Right.
was so absolutely baffled by this decision in terms of just and even his character motivations switch partway into the film after she, fucking knocks his teeth in with her car keys and everything.
Yeah.
Again, sat there as the getaway driver for a bloody murder, gets punched in the face, and no longer he's working for someone. Now this is his own personal vendetta for things.
Right.
What?
Almost like some kind of weird feminist propaganda that this toxic male is so
And-
upset that he was punched and caught on the back foot from a chick that
Yeah.
he's mad. So now he's going to teach her a lesson.
Well, it's like to Gore, what you're saying right here, and I know Vex and Tox know this. He says to her early on, like, "Okay, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in God." And as he's dying, he's praying to God. And at that point,
That
yeah,
was actually
and-
that was pretty funny
was it?
though.
But see,
I like
that's it.
that,
But I bust out laughing. But that's the point. Like, if that was the tone, because like it said, Pearl had that tone. So if those kind of scenes would make sense, that was a problem
Yeah.
with this film. They're treating this film like
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
it's like-
it's really doesn't know what it wants to be. It's this weird hodgepodge of 80s nostalgia, kind of almost wanting to be an 80s film noir type thing, and then it's
Mhm.
like it takes little bits of X and little bits of Pearl and kind of just sprinkles them in there and shakes it up, and then it's just a big shit sandwich. I get what you're saying.
Because that's what I'm saying, Gore. It's like, if that was the entire film, if everybody acted like that, that would make sense. But it's like when this guy gets into that televangelist or not, it's like his character seems like he's in a fucking different movie. That's the
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah.
And like Kevin Bacon, like that, that Kevin Bacon scene was hilarious, but like it's like the rest of the film was so fucking serious that I laughed not because it was funny, because it just that scene where he's dying, just it felt like it was out of an Evil Dead movie.
Plus,
Yeah.
it's like, and then just Giancarlo Esposito disappears. You have This is the second fucking time we've done a low bar review with Giancarlo Esposito, one of the greatest character actors that has ever been on screen, small and large, and he's wasted like he was in Abigail in a nothing burger role. Like he's just like he does fuck all.
Yeah, to be fair, this film does it with everyone they casted. There are so
Yeah.
many big names.
Yeah,
in
we were
here.
saying that before you came on. Like
Yeah.
the hot girl from Yellow Jackets is in it as the makeup artist. She does nothing. It's like the chick that plays the writer director. She's been great in a lot of other stuff she's in. She really just doesn't do anything except sit there and have these freaking monologues about
lesbian
boss
Terminator
babe.
vibes is what I got
Right.
from her.
Right. Yeah.
The other thing with the whole televangelist thing is like, yeah, I would that's why I can buy what his motivations were in the end and how he acted,
Hmm.
because yeah, like Gord said, they're greedy salesmen who don't really care about what they preach. But it's also because it's not really dropped in very well, the religious subplot and tones and whatnot. So
No, yeah,
Yeah.
if they had done something like it was like they had ties into the Hollywood pedo elite. Now, obviously, they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
But if they had some kind of ties where they were just like, even back in the 80s, they were already like doing these horrific shit to these young girls and stuff like that, and taking them and doing weirdo sick satanic rituals to be famous and stuff. I feel like they kind of tried to go there for a second and then backed off of it.
I thought
They're
I thought they were gonna go there, to be honest.
I thought that
for-
too. Yeah, that's what I thought they were going to do.
Yeah.
Sorry, go back a frame. What did you
Oh,
have on
sure.
screen before that?
I was just showing
Thought he just
forgot.
did you just have the
these two. Like you're
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah,
Western-
so Elizabeth Debicki, so she's like the director that hires
Yes.
Maxine for the Puritan 2.
yes.
And the
Yep.
Puritan 1, like they go through, it was a big hit on home video. I think because of that, like we can
Hey,
do the
buddy,
second
thanks.
one, it'll be really big. Bye, Gord. So I understand that there's like very subtle feminist themes in the other two. I feel here that they aren't adequately used to really do much of anything outside of this character. So they keep pushing this character front and forward as we're women in Hollywood, we're women who need to make names for ourselves,
Mhm.
yada yada yada. And again, it never really comes out as anything more than, oh, she actually kind of just acts like a dude, and that's why everyone respects her.
Right. She
There isn't-
dresses like a dude.
You're not wrong.
She speaks like one. Like I said right before you came on, she's like what Kathleen Kennedy wishes that she was.
Right. And there's nothing like down to the haircut, there is nothing really feminine to prove like this is why I need to be taken seriously,
Right.
instead of like we're women trying to kind of flourish in this industry sort of deal. So
Right.
I found this character like a big letdown. Even Maxine, I don't even know what the point of Maxine really is in this movie. She doesn't do anything. She doesn't go anywhere. She gets away scot free with murder, basically.
Yeah, she shotguns her fucking dad in front of the police helicopter. Like, I don't, you if the dude's laying on his back and he's wounded, there's no, like, I don't know what kind of judge she got, but you can't blow his head up in front of fucking LAPD. That's not,
Right.
Yeah.
that's not happening. That's so weird.
That's what I said with the ending. I saw it coming a mile away because it was a cliche happy ending. But I first thought, honestly, when the helicopter's looking at her, I thought that was a dream sequence. And then when
That's
it goes
what I
back,
thought too.
exactly, because
I would have preferred, like, she does that, gets her get back, and then tragically the LAPD's just
well,
like,
that's what I'm
"All right,
saying. Like I
drop
thought,
her," and they like
yeah.
put one in her dome or something like
Well,
that.
that's me. I thought it was a dream
She
sequence.
dies on the Hollywood
and then
sign.
then it comes back to reality where it's like she shoots her dad, then they fucking gun her down, which would actually happen. But they decided to go with the whole like, okay, so like Vex said, now she killed her dad. Now her dad was the leader of a cult. Now she's a fucking hero. So I guess her journey was, now I'm officially not a porn star anymore. I'm a legit actress, and this is my destiny.
Well, now
Sure.
she's made a blood sacrifice for fame.
Ooh,
there
I
you
see.
go,
Now
yeah.
that could have
So I mean,
went
I guess
somewhere.
that's her whole arc is, okay, now I'm not a porn star. I'm a legit Hollywood actress, and I've done as many fucked up things as actual Hollywood actresses do.
Imagine if some big producer, or hell, just use Debicki, and she comes in, pulls her aside as they're like going to court over this, and she's like, "Hey, we're gonna me and the other weirdo pedophile elite in Hollywood, we liked what you did here. You basically gave us a blood sacrifice. So just swear allegiance to Tom Cruise and all the other weird cult shit, and we'll give you what you want." And she's like, "Hell yeah, I'm gonna be a big old star." Like, if they had just done like a little cutaway scene with that, I could have
Yeah.
bought the ending. I would have been like, "Okay, all right, I get it." You know,
Yeah, and that's one thing I think all three of us can agree on is that, yes, but the Hollywood tropes in this film, it does feel authentic because we could see this shit happening in 80s Hollywood. Everything
Mhm.
they do, it felt like that. This is what's really good. It probably still goes on nowadays, let's be honest. Like,
That's where like there's Ty West really did perfect the 80s feel in this movie, like
Yeah.
far
yeah,
better
we
than a
agreed.
lot of
We agreed
other.
on that. Yeah,
Yeah, but it's just like it's such a shame that he didn't make an actual fucking story for his movie. This is
Yeah.
6 different ideas that he's melded
Yeah.
together. They
yeah,
never come together very nicely. The character feels wasted now because you've propped her up in X and you expect there to be more hurdles that she kind of overcomes. All she really does is she lets her friends die. Then for some reason, randomly in the kitchen, she's just like, "Oh, I need to save bitches now," kind of deal. And
Yeah.
that's meant to be her character defining moment, even though we've seen her throughout the entire film. She's kind of dunked on her friends to, go do work or for things that they have done in the past. She's put other people above her. Like, she's dunked on all the other actresses that were auditioning for the role. She even to kind of like takes advantage of her agent slash lawyer when it's convenient. She does a lot of drugs. Like, this is a woman that's willing to walk over people for her fame.
mm,
And there is no incident that switches her otherwise. It's
Right.
just, oh, because we need a certain ending to happen, she needs to want to investigate things. She wants
Right.
to want to go into this.
true. Yeah.
Just so the plot can happen. Yeah. No, I hear
just-
you. I agreed.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much all we can say, Vivek, since you came on late. But here we already answered this.
So
But
so I think I already know what Blue's gonna say. So I rate it. I go X, Pearl, and then way in the back, Maxine. That's
no,
where
I
I
was
go.
just gonna ask her because she didn't answer these because we already
Yeah,
answered
go ahead.
it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Vivek, I always ask these, and these questions will apply to you as well. Like, how do you feel about these questions?
I mean, I have no good or bad feelings towards these questions.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
How do I
well,
feel, right?
yeah. How do you feel it? Like, did you like? I mean, did you? I mean, did you pay for it? Did you have like a free pass? I don't know. How you,
No, I used one of my free tickets to go see this because I figured this is still going to kill at the box office either way. There's
Really?
enough of I think it'll make a pretty decent killing just because there is a fan base for it.
okay.
Okay.
fine.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying it's going to make hundreds upon hundreds of millions, but I
No.
think it will be profitable. Did I like it? No, I didn't like it. Would I recommend it? No, I wouldn't recommend it. Should you spend your hard-earned money on this? To each their own. I think some people will probably get so lost in the 80s vibe that
Mm,
they'll forget there's a plot. I think if you're like any of us on this panel, you'll still appreciate the 80s vibe, but you'll recognize that there's a lot of plot issues. So
Yeah.
I'm going to say no. Like, it also just isn't necessarily something that is worth a big screen viewing as well, because there's nothing
No, yeah.
particularly cinematic or exciting about it. Even the gore is, I felt very, very toned down. Like, aside from the nut testicle thing, there was the body parts in the suitcase, which was a cool effect, and there was the dad getting his head shot off. That was all the gore.
Yeah.
So yeah, nothing. Yeah, I wouldn't personally. I wouldn't spend money on it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know you don't drink too much, but I'm assuming just, you're probably gonna say bottom shelf whiskey for this, right?
Oh, this is like whiskey that you might be close to. This is the whiskey you drink if you were desperate to get drunk. There you go.
Nice. Toilet duck. Yeah, we
Yeah.
got it. Yeah,
Yeah.
we got
Yeah.
it. Oh, by the way, one more thing. And I hate to do this to my yellow jacket friend, but so this makeup designer puts this fucking mask on her and then just like, hey, just breathe, and just leaves her in the fucking room by herself.
Right.
Who
Yeah.
does that? So many, even if there wasn't a chick who had really bad PTSD and has never done this before, why would you leave? So many things could go wrong there.
Safety issue. That's really all.
Why
it is.
would you leave her
Yeah.
in? I don't believe for a second that even in the 80s she would have left her alone like that. And the only reason they did it was so that the plot could happen.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So dumb. So dumb.
And it's more, it's like, she's having these PTSD moments which never pay off.
Yeah, and not only that, but they're PTSD moments that seem to come out of fucking nowhere, because
Right.
up,
Like what
up
triggered
until
it?
that moment, up until that moment happens, there is zero indication that Maxine is at all haunted by what happened in Texas.
Right.
Zero indication.
Exactly.
Yeah, she's just been riding and sucking dick for like 10 years or whatever the interim has been, and she's been totally fine. Like,
Yep.
have a thing where I keep trying to rewrite this movie to make it better. Like, yeah, have a thing where she's fucking up in porn because she's at that porn stage that all porn stars get when they're not quite as hot, so they start doing more torture porn stuff. I've read about, I haven't watched myself because I don't get into stuff like that. But after a certain thing, after they've done girl, boy, boy, girl, animal, whatever, they start getting into torture porn shit, and then that starts triggering her, and she can't make a living, so she has to find something else to do and build that up. And then also at the end, when all that stuff was going down, have her start having some that stuff like motivates her, and stops her for a minute, and then she has to kind of overcome that. But no, they're just not. They're just like, hey, she's pretty. Let's have her snort cocaine and look in the mirror and say what a fucking boss babe she is.
This final shot of her doing this, by the way, again, another instance that doesn't make sense for the character. Ruthless suddenly decides to save women, goes back to being completely ruthless, and has zero PTSD about the fact that she shot her fucking father up and lost 3 of her closest friends and a potential work colleague.
So what's she called then? That's a sociopath or psychopath? I keep forgetting differences.
Oh, she's sociopath for sure.
Yeah.
Psychopath is like Hannibal Lecter. Sociopath is like me. So
yeah. She kills people and feels nothing of it. Like
right. As long as she can derive some kind of value from it, that kind of thing.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
All right.
This
Cool.
movie is just so disappointing on so many levels.
Vex, do you think, or do you have any? Would you want to see a part 4?
No, I think Ty West should abandon this franchise in particular altogether.
Please leave this. Even if this does well, and I have my doubts that it's going to do well. I think this was in one screen at my local theater, and Inside Out 2 is still smashing records in there. They have they have 8 screens altogether, and 4 of them were dedicated to Inside Out 2. So
okay, let me put this into a better context.
Sure.
Yeah, it's not going to beat Inside Out 2 or Despicable Me 4, especially on a July 4th weekend, right? Like, horror films have a very specific audience. You can't take a family to go see it.
True.
I think just in terms of being a horror film in general, I think it will perform well given the genre. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm looking right now. I can't find the actual budget, but like Vex, like you would know, X and Pro both had $1 million budget. So I mean, I can't. This one didn't have the budget. Probably like $1 million.
How much?
The first X had a budget of $1 million.
So I'm gonna maybe say that this was. Oh, but they got some like A-listers in here this
Yeah,
time
unfortunately.
around.
Yeah.
I keep
Oh,
Googling
they
it,
got
but-
a lot of A-listers in here that did nothing. In X, Jenna
Well-
Ortega, like I told you earlier in the review, Jenna Ortega was still unknown. Mia Goth was
Yeah.
still unknown.
Yeah.
So and then they get Mia Goth to play two different characters in the same movie. So it's just like, okay, so they really saved some money on that. So yeah, but I think this is gonna flop. As
We'll
far
see.
as horror movie stuff, like the preview I saw for The Heretic, also starring the girl from Yellow Jackets, that looked a hell of a lot better than this bullshit.
Yeah, but I think to like what Vex was saying though, Wes, is just that this film, for argument's sake, say the budget was $2 million. If this movie makes like $3 or $4 million, I mean, it's the first two films are low budget films. If this makes $10 million, to them it's still a win.
Hmm.
Yeah,
that-
A24 tends to do pretty
Yeah.
good with that. I mean, but I don't know, man. It's it's definitely, I cannot see anybody else thinking that it's nothing unless they're a shill, thinking it's anything other than the weak link in the trilogy.
Yeah,
I agree.
definite weak link. Yeah.
All right, guys.
Glad we all agree. We all agreed on low bar. How about that?
Yeah. Well, Vex, yeah, I'm sorry I said I mean, yes, I'm glad you came on, but just I feel bad taking you because we all get real life shit, and I feel bad
I don't
taking
feel
No.
bad.
I do.
I don't feel bad.
Yeah, you're a sociopath. That's why.
True. True.
But no, I like talking to you guys. And I like
Yeah.
going on streams, but it's like at the same time, it's like, oh, I got fucking bills to pay.
I know. Well, that's
I heard
honestly
that.
that's what I'm doing after this because I'm going to listen to Adam Gray's they're doing
Oh.
B-roll tonight, but I'm gonna be listening for the next 12 hours. I'm gonna be working too. I'm gonna be driving the next
Yeah.
12 hours.
Sounds
so
to
I-
me
There
like
you
you guys should be collecting an army pension. That seems like
Uh-huh.
that would have give you a little bit more wiggle room. That recruiting
I mean,
office was open to everybody.
like,
Just
what kind of assholes joins the army? Fuck.
who knows? Who knows?
Actually, I tried. They told me because I have drug felonies, they turned me down.
Oh well.
I'm
I-
not.
I actually tried to join the Canadian Army as well,
Yeah.
and they told me because I'm gluten intolerant, that could be a problem on the
Really?
battlefield.
I did not know that. Was that true, Wes? Like,
I've never heard of such a thing, but I've never been in the Canadian Army,
Yeah.
so I mean,
Yeah, it was.
who
so
do they fight? The woodchucks and stuff out there, or like what do you guys do out there?
those bears.
Those bears.
We're just kind of. Oh, we're deployed onto citizens. There you go. That's the
Oh,
best
that's
us.
Well,
more accurate.
I
You
love
should have
to-
told. You should have told them. I want all of the citizens to have a digital,
Yeah.
social digital card and stuff like that. They would have been like, oh, all
Well,
right, there you go.
Well, I still love, Vex knows this where she's up in Canada, but like, so I have 2 felonies for marijuana. And 2 days ago, I went down to a dispensary 5 minutes from my house and legally bought a bag of gummies that have marijuana in them.
Mhm.
Even though I went to prison for marijuana, now I'm buying marijuana free and legal.
That's fucking insane.
Boy, don't you love New York's fucking laws? So yes, Wes. So I
You
actually-
shouldn't have those on your record whatsoever anymore. Now
Funny
that
how-
it's
funny how-
legal.
Yeah, but no, I actually because like West knows they
Yeah.
increased the recruitment rating to like was it 43, and even at 39,
Yeah.
at 39 I was checking all the stats, talked to a recruiter, I passed all the physicals, I was in better shape than I'm even at now. I said,
Yeah.
well, dude, you have two fucking drug felonies. I'm like, it's marijuana, it's about to be legal. Yeah,
I don't
we
know.
know, but
I had a felony when I went in, but I got a waiver. So
I'll say, but I have 2. That's the thing.
well,
He's
all
like,
right,
he's like, we can't waive 2 of them. We can waive 1. I'm like, motherfucker. I was like, for
well,
a legal plant.
yeah. Hopefully, one day, aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer becomes legal, and then I can fight my thing.
Maybe you never know.
Yeah.
Backlash. Why does she look like Claire Hall from? I don't know.
I don't know what Vampire Diaries. I've never seen it.
Not
But
CW. Of course, I,
I,
never watched
I
it.
know what it. I've never seen it though. I don't know.
Yeah, I've
like,
never watched The Vampire Diaries either.
Yeah. Sorry, missed that train.
I would definitely do that. That would be awesome. Next, I guess
Yeah, I could see Blue is like a little guy, so I could definitely see. They always get the little guys to drive the tanks and the
That's right.
vehicles and stuff. I could definitely see you would have been doing that. Hey, listen, man, when we go to Civil War, maybe you will get a chance to be in the military.
I can whip a bus.
All right. Well,
All
there you
right.
go. Well, hey Vex, thank you so much for jumping on with us.
Definitely.
It's really cool to have you on.
No,
Yeah.
it's my pleasure. I was like hopping in between doing actual work and scripting my own Maxine review.
Mm.
Sure.
And then I was like, you know what? I could use a break. I want to talk some shit. So
I
Yeah.
hear ya.
Well, no. When
Just so you know, I did not read your Twitter review before I saw the movie because I didn't want to be influenced, but we pretty much
That's
said
fine.
exactly the same thing. And
Yeah.
so I did not plagiarize you, just so you know. We just happen to have the same opinion and on
Good,
something
you're
that's
good.
I'm not
that
smart
shit.
enough to plagiarizer. Like,
yeah,
But
you
what-
can't even
what's,
spell plagiarize.
he's not wrong. But Now once your videos up, let me know, because I always like tweet out stuff, and like I said, you're killing it with the videos. I know it sucks because you've been or Vex, where it's like people, hey Vex, put out more videos. You're like, yeah guys, listen, my 10-minute reviews take a long fucking time.
Yeah.
Also, I'm, working. This isn't my main source of income. If it were
Sure.
my main source of income, yeah, I could literally pump out a video in 2
Yeah.
days. But
we all don't get $5,000 worth of super chats when we do an open bar. Like some people
exactly.
do.
There you
So,
go.
True.
I can't
What do
make yeah. I
what do you
can't
got?
use this source of income.
What do you got coming up? Anything you want to plug?
Oh. I mean,
Besides
I'll be on
review?
MMM on Monday. We're doing the Lego movie since it
Oh,
turns
okay.
10
That's
years
cute.
old this week.
Aw.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Anything else?
I'll have a Maxine review out
Sweet.
hopefully on Monday. Depends on how fast I can pump this all out. I think it'll be easier because I won't have to worry about, Warner Brothers copyright claiming my videos again.
Sure. Sure.
So I think this
Are-
will be easier, and there's a lot less footage for me to work with on top of that. So
Yeah.
Are you and the
But yeah.
girl still doing that that rewatch of Carnival?
yes, so we didn't do one today. So yeah, next Friday, or this coming Friday, sorry, I should say,
awesome.
episodes 5 and 6 over on Inside All Day podcast.
That's
I'm trying to think.
Nadia's.
Yeah.
Nadia's,
Oh, and
right?
I'm doing
Yeah.
weekly reviews of Presumed Innocent, that show on Apple TV with the Scene
Oh,
Invader Squad.
I have that. I
Gotcha.
have that on my Plex. Maybe I should watch that.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. I have problems with the characters. There you
Okay,
go.
so it's
But-
probably good then. Yeah, because your opinion of shows is shit to me now because of sugar. I
oh,
will
then
never-
you probably shouldn't watch Presumed Innocent because it's also Apple
Mm.
TV. So
I like Apple TV.
Mm.
All right, I'm checking out
How can we make this detective noir thing? Let's have him be an alien halfway through the show.
Wait,
What?
Really? I want to watch it now. Shit.
Oh, just fuck off. Anyway,
I
what do you
want to
got?
rewatch it because now I'm thinking oh, it actually kind of fucking makes sense that he's an alien, but also
Oh,
why
fuck
make
off.
him a fucking alien?
Jesus Christ, dude! I will literally never forgive you for that, like ever in my life.
Then I've done my job.
All right, well that's fair.
I
If
don't
it was if it was a prank, I'd be okay with it. I'd be like, all right, she got me.
Yeah.
So
Can I be honest? When I
Yes.
recommended that show to you, I
Yeah.
hadn't watched the last 2 episodes yet.
I believe you. No, I believe you. I believe you.
So
I
I
believe
didn't
you.
even know he was an alien.
I-
when I
that's what I'm
recommended
saying. Yeah, but you're still culpable. So I don't care. It'd be like if you
Yeah.
introduced me to one of your, damaged and slutty friends, and then she wound up giving me a disease I don't already have.
Well,
It'd
She
still
was
be your
damaged and
fault.
slutty. What did you expect?
yeah.
Well, I mean, listen, I never said I wasn't a hypocrite. I never said that.
It's
So,
true.
what do you got, Blue? What's happening with you, bud?
I don't know. Lance on Sunday, and then we're doing Independence Day on Tuesday.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Nice.
We are.
Yeah.
The
that's
first
pretty much
one,
it.
right? The original Independence Day.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
The only one, that exists, Dex. There was never
The
a
only one that
sequel.
exists. There's no other one. What are you
No, of course
talking
not.
about? There's no such. There's
Never,
no
never,
other
never a
thing.
sequel's ever made.
Do you want to
First.
know something really weird about that movie? For me, at least. So
Which
you
one?
remember the old crazy scientist with the long hair and everything?
Yeah, Brent
Yeah,
Spiner.
Data.
Yeah. He was one of my that character specifically was a childhood crush for me.
Wow.
Wow. I didn't think I
Data.
could consider you more weird
Data's late.
until just this moment, and you've got a lot of problems, Vex. Vex, you are a damaged person.
That's why she's fun.
Yeah, you're lucky. You're luckier in another country, or else we'd wind up dating. So,
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I guess we're out here, guys. We'll see you next time. I'm not sure what we're doing next
Say the
week.
thing. Say the thing, Blue.
What
Say the
thing?
thing. You know the thing.
I don't.
Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already.
I hate doing
Please
that shit. you
Tell
know?
us what you want us to review
Ne-
next.
ne- next
Tell
is
us if
the-
you disagree with our
Yeah.
review. Tell us to eat a dick. We don't care. Just
Next,
leave a
week,
comment.
buy my coffee. You know, Star
Oh,
Wars-
actually, real quick
Sure.
before are you guys gonna both see Longlegs next week?
Yes, I want to.
It doesn't really interest me, to be honest
And
with you.
me and Vex, I'll go down. No, Long Legs, I think looks the trailer. My kid's like, Dad, you see the new Nicolas Cage trailer? I'm like, yeah. He's like, that looks. I'm interested.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that. I got my
Talk
tickets
about it.
already, so
Okay.
I'm
I
Talk
love
about
pumped
it.
for that one.
forward to you guys' low bar review without me.
Yeah, I know. I want to see. Hopefully, maybe Sunday. I want to see Despicable Me because how did you see it, Vex?
Yeah, I saw it on Wednesday.
Good or bad?
I was disappointed
Ah,
personally.
damn.
as a fan of the Despicable Me universe, I just
Ah,
it's not that it goes woke or anything. There's no messaging. It's just like, oh, it's kind of clear that you don't know what you're doing, what you want this movie to be. That's all.
Right.
Look,
There's no big themes, no big point, no big
Hmm.
character arc. It's just kind of there.
yeah,
It's
Nick.
take it or leave it.
Nick, you gotta
movie.
understand. I'm hosting with two women that talk a lot. Okay, come on. You know.
Fuck off.
What?
Even if I was a woman, I'd still be twice the man you'll ever be.
But no one's disputing that. Come
All
on.
right.
All right, we're at it.
Bye.
Oh,
Bye. Thank you.
mhm.